The frosting dripped down my cheek. Everyone was laughing, except me. The word egoist still echoed in the air, sharp as glass. My sister sat smug at the center of it, pretending to wipe a crumb from her dress while her eyes danced with triumph. All because I refused to sign over my apartment, the place I worked a decade for, the one sanctuary I carved out of nothing. They wanted me to hand it to her, the golden child who never worked a day, who floated from mistake to mistake while the family cushioned her fall. When I said no, they called me greedy. When I stood firm, they called me selfish. And when the cake hit my face, they laughed. I didn't. I only smiled, wiped the cream from my cheek, and in that silence between their laughter and my next move, I decided their fate. It hadn't always been this way. I used to believe family meant protection. When I was little, I shared my toys, my allowance, my room with my sister, because I thought love worked that way. But love, in my family, was conditional. It was always about her needs, her wants, her failures brushed aside. When I bought the apartment, I thought maybe they'd finally see me. Not as a bank, not as the responsible one, but as their equal. For a brief moment, I believed they were proud. Until she got into debt. Until she cried about needing a fresh start. And suddenly, my hard-earned apartment became her solution. I refused. They didn't forgive me for that. I could have left the gathering that night, walked away, locked my door, let them rot in their entitlement. But walking away would mean they'd keep painting me as the villain. No, I wanted something cleaner, final. So while they laughed, I quietly set my plan in motion. Step 1, paperwork. A week later, I met with my lawyer. Not to protect the apartment, I'd already done that, but to transfer it into a trust under my name, airtight, untouchable. If they wanted to fight, they'd lose before they started. Step 2, the will. They didn't know I'd rewritten it. Every cent I owned, every asset, was no longer theirs to claim. The apartment, the savings, everything. It would go to charity, not a single dime to the people who spit on me that night. Step 3, silence. That was the hardest, but also the sharpest blade. I cut contact. No explanations, no dramatic goodbye. Calls went unanswered, messages ignored, birthdays forgotten. To them, I vanished. At first, they mocked me. She'll come crawling back. But weeks stretched into months, and I didn't. They realized too late that I was serious. Then the cracks began to show. Without my quiet loans, my sister's finances collapsed. The creditors came knocking. She sold her jewelry, then her car. Still, it wasn't enough. My parents tried to intervene, but their savings had already been siphoned into her mistakes. For the first time, they couldn't save her. And me? I watched from a distance. Not with joy, not with sorrow, just clarity. They had built their world around her, and I was the scaffolding holding it up. When I stepped away, it crumbled. The confrontation came almost a year later. My father showed up at my building, thinner, older, his pride stripped away. He begged me to reconsider, to forgive, to be family again. I looked him in the eye, calm as steel, and said, "Family is supposed to protect you, not throw cake in your face when you stand up for yourself." He dropped his gaze. He knew. The golden child? She reached out last. Pregnant, abandoned by the man who promised her salvation, debts mounting higher than her pride. She left me a voicemail, her voice cracking. "Please, I need you." For the first time in my life, I didn't. I let her words hang unanswered, like all the times I begged for fairness and was met with silence. My revenge wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was absence. The one thing they never thought I was capable of. By removing myself, I forced them to live in the reality they created. A world where I wasn't the scapegoat, or the safety net, or the villain. Just gone. Now, when I walk through my apartment,
every wall whispers peace, not laughter at my expense, not demands disguised as love, just silence, the kind that heals. Do I miss them? No. I miss the idea of them, the family I wished I had. But the truth is simple, they never wanted me, only what I could give. So I gave them exactly what they asked for, nothing. And in that nothing, they lost everything. That night, with frosting dripping down my cheek, they thought they had humiliated me. But the moment I wiped my face and smiled back, I had already won. Because revenge isn't about what you take from them, it's about what you stop giving.